I'm so happy to have you here today. I, of course, am Dara Thomason. I'm the weight loss coach for quilters, and this webinar is going to help you with creating 3 really great top tips or strategies, tools to help you to overcome those pesky problems that just keep coming up. So I'd love that you're here, and I would love to love to have you just say hi, where you're from. So fun to see all of you. Okay, so I have a fancy slideshow. Okay, so in the chat, so if you wanted to say where you're from, introduce yourself. Oh, you don't have to introduce yourself, just say where you're from. There's just a little icon on the bottom that says chat, and it looks kind of like a speech bubble, and that's where you can put that. Okay. Overland Park, Kansas. Awesome. Eugene, Oregon. So good. We've got Mexico in here. We've got all over the place. So good. All right. So I'm just going to get started right off the bat because there's always so much I want to share with you all. Let me share my screen. I'll come back. Okay. So here we go. Top 3 ways to solve those pesky problems that just don't seem to go away. Are you ready? So I wanted to start off right off the bat and tell you, I actually don't care how much you weigh. Isn't that fun? Because your worth is already set. This is the first thing I tell every single person I talk to who come to any of my free trainings and any of my programs. Being a certain size has nothing to do with your weight. With your worth. It really doesn't, because the day we were born, our worth was already set, and you can't do anything about it. You can't make yourself less wonderful and amazing. So I really want to, if there's only one thing you take away from this webinar, I really want to impress that on you. When you lose weight, it does not make you a better person. When there is a certain number on the scale, rainbows and daisies don't just happen, okay? So because you're bringing all those thoughts you have about yourself when you get to that scale. And if you don't change those thoughts, it doesn't matter what numbers on that scale. It doesn't matter how carved you are. It doesn't matter any of that. How much money you make won't make a difference, because the reason I know that for sure is there are a lot of really rich, skinny movie stars who are very unhappy. So I'm just going to say that right off the bat. That is so important for all of you just to know and internalize. So what do you want? You want to finish your projects easily, quickly, and perfectly. You never want to have any problems with projects. You never have any challenges or obstacles with your weight. You want to just wiggle your nose and it's all done for you. You think it's like you don't want things to be that hard. With some of the things we want them already done. We're like, just have it done, right? We look at a beautiful quilt and we're like, I just want that quilt, right? But then when it goes to making it and having to troubleshoot it and having to rip things, not unrip, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to do that. Okay. When you have problems meeting the goal, it feels like a failure. You don't want to feel that way. You want to be happy generally, never need anyone to say anything. You want to be productive in your life, and you never want to doubt yourself. Okay. So you are a human. This is very normal. So what problems do you have that seem like they keep repeating? So this is where I like getting interactive in the chat. So I wrote a few just to get you started. So what problems seem to keep coming up from you? So you never have enough time in the day. You try a diet, you have some success for a while, and then eventually it creeps back on. You keep making mistakes even when you have done it over and over. So what other problems keep coming up for you? So I got you started on that. So I'm just going to open up the chat. Oh, we've got lots of people from all over. We've got Utah, Illinois, Washington, BC. That's where I live, Canada. So good. So what other problems do you have? And they keep coming. You're like, I thought I solved this problem already. What's going on? Another BC, Wisconsin. So good. So do you find like people ask you to do things and you have a hard time saying no? Do you don't try new things because you're afraid that you might not do them well enough? Do you have a lot of unfinished projects? You start a lot of projects, but you don't finish them? Like these are the things that you, like, what are the problems that it just seems like, oh, here's that story again, or here's that problem. Why does it just keep finding me? Right? When people say I'm losing weight, but it keeps finding me again. Okay. So what have you done to get those results that you want? Well, a lot of people will buy a lot of programs and systems. How many of you are really strict with yourself and mean to yourself? You're like, well, if I'm mean enough, if I speak really unkindly to myself, then I'll pay attention. Then I'll really learn. Okay. This one is one comparing yourself to others. And I broke it down into two different parts. So you say, well, so-and-so does this much and so does that. So I should do what they do. I should wake up at 5 a.m. I should do this. I should do that. So you get out of yourself, your own qualities, your own abilities, your own skills, and you try to take on other people's, which doesn't work because that's not sustainable for you. That's not who you are. Okay. Too many projects, buying more fabric and making it mean anything. I always say, like, well, maybe your role as a quilter is just to support lots of fabric designers, right? Like this fabric was from Joel Dewberry. I love Joel Dewberry. He's not designing fabric anymore, but I love that. I'm like, I bought lots because I have 8 panels, 10 panels, something like that. I bought lots. I supported him. That's awesome. And I supported my local quilt shop, right? So we really compare and despair. We give ourselves lots of incentives to lose weight or finish a project. Like we treat ourselves like a kid, and we don't really give ourselves like that respect. We have lots of deprivation. We do a lot of bargaining. Well, if you do this, then you get this. So you use a reward system. Again, you're using all this external validation. You sometimes will say, I'm just going to do a fresh start. I'm just going to throw it all away. I'm going to try it again. So then what happens is you never learn the process. Oh, so I'm getting ahead of myself. Or sometimes you do the rebellion thing and you say, I don't care. But really behind you and inside, you're like, oh, am I ever going to, start questioning yourself. You procrastinate for the right time. I had a few clients last year that hired me in the middle of December, right before Christmas. And they're like, oh, the money, all of this. But like, there's never the perfect time for this. And then you get joy from helping others, but then you never find that real joy for yourself. So I'm curious, as I'm reading these, I'm just wanting you to kind of spend some time in your brain asking yourself, which one resonates with me? Which one really is what I do? All right. So why haven't you experienced the desired results yet? Because you're like, man, I've done so many diets, or I've tried so many people's lists for finishing projects. I've tried so many about so many calendar systems, and I just can't get it. So this is why you have unrealistic expectations. You go from not doing hardly anything to thinking, I'm going to have every minute of every day scheduled, to doing all the things. It's super unrealistic. It's like me saying, hey, ladies, we're all going to run a marathon. Or, hey, ladies, I'll give you a 10-minute lesson on free motion quilting, and now I want you to quilt a king size all over feathers quilt. That's very unrealistic. That's setting you up for a success, for not having success. You don't work through the problems. You don't allow yourself to say, oh, I've got some problems, and now I'm going to come up with some solutions. You have a lot of negative self-talk, and negative self-talk is very destructive. We have a lot of people in fact, there's more mental health now than we've ever had in the past. And it's because we're not realizing how destructive the negative thought is. And it takes a toll on us emotionally, and it affects our mental health. So also we have, going along with this, we don't have sustainable approaches. We think, I got to do it all, but that's not sustainable. We don't have the stamina to keep going if we say we're going to go from 0 to 100. Okay. It's not realistic. We don't deal with the real problem. And so many of us say, well, if I just lose the weight, then I can feel good about myself. The problem is, the reason why you're overweight is because you're overeating. And so we've got to realize, why are you turning to the food? Why do you keep eating more than your body can handle? Why are you a walking storage container? So we've got to go to the root of why you keep turning to putting food in your mouth. Okay. I think I don't do those, but I think I am in a denial. Totally. Denial is hiding from yourself. And Mary, I'm so excited that you're in the next, you're coming live to the Love Yourself Thin process. You're going to learn it, and then you're going to get all that reinforced help over 13 weeks. And actually you started already when you come to the Monday class. So you give up quickly, so then you don't get to figure out how amazing it could be. So those ladies who want to do free motion quilting, they want to be able to quilt their own projects. You're like, I tried it. It's just so hard. Well, how long did you try it for? 5 hours, 10 hours? Right? Like, how willing are you to put in the time? It takes some time. And then we have the resist, react, and avoid the issues. Okay. So this is where I will help you learn the top 3 ways to work through challenges. How much time will you save for being here? Really, just in this 1 hour, how much time in the future, even if you could implement even just one of these top ways, if you could save yourself half an hour every day, isn't that amazing? Half an hour over, the rest of your lifetime, that's a heck of a lot of time. So way to go. All right. So hello, I'm Dara, as you know. So this was me before, when I was heavier. The middle picture is when I started to lose the weight and I started getting confidence that I could do this. I didn't have a lot of pictures to go to. So now I've lost 50 pounds without counting calories or exercising. And I've been able to keep it off for over 2 years. And it's been really fun for me to help quilters lose the weight and keep it off. So the top 3 tools, and these are ones I just right off the top of my head, because these are ones that I use all the time, I'm going to share with you today. So the first one is worth on the line. How many of you think that when you have made the quilt, or when you have finished all your UFOs, or when you have a certain number on the scale, or when you have a certain kind of house or car or 401k profile, then you can believe that you are worthy. Then you can believe that you're good enough. Then you can believe. So the problem is, when we think that when we have a certain goal or accomplishment, then that creates the joy. The problem is it doesn't. So we spend all this time trying to get to a goal, and then we get there and we realize, oh, I don't feel different. I'm not a different person. So then what do? We think, oh, well, I guess I got it wrong. I guess I now need to do this kind of quilt. Or I need to, if you've lost the weight, you're like, yeah, but maybe now I need to make my bones or make my muscles look really, really good. So now I have to go and do a bunch of weight training. So then you get all this weight training and you're still not happy. And so you're like, oh, well, maybe now I need Botox, or now I need whatever it is. Because we're never going to, that we're using, we're doing things to try to solve a problem. It's like trying to do a math problem, but you're doing subtraction instead of addition. You're never going to get the right answer. That's what we're doing all the time. So I want you to know that your worth is not on the line. Your worth is already set. So if you want to lose weight, it's just to have more fun. If you want to finish those quilts, it's like, because it'd just be more fun. It has nothing to do with your worth. So, I got ahead of myself here. So how do you evaluate your worth? Do you evaluate with your size of your body, the type of relationships you have, external success? So I've gotten this many awards for my quilts. These many people said this many, like how many of you have gone to a function and you're like, if you don't get any praise, then you feel like your outfit's not good enough, or your hair wasn't a good choice at the hairdresser, or whatever that is, because you didn't have someone say, oh, I like your hair. Oh, I like that outfit. Because if you don't get someone else's approval, then you can't approve it yourself. How many of you do that? What about accomplishments? It's like, oh, I guess I need to get a PhD now, or I guess I need to do this level of quilt. I guess I need to pay this much to a professional quilter, right? How many of us do that? The other way, do you do money, the number of how much money you have in the bank, or how many vacations you've had, or the kind of education you've had? How many of you use those things to evaluate your worth? Okay, So why this is a problem, and that I've been saying, our value has been assigned at birth. It's already happened. Nothing we do or don't do will make you any better. So that's why I say, is it more fun? It is more fun to walk without 80 pounds on your back. It is more fun not having type 2 diabetes. So it's like, well, you know what? I think I want to have a little more fun in my life. So let's just lose some weight. And will our life improve when we accomplish goals? I don't have a weight loss problem now. And it's more fun for me to get dressed in the morning. And it's more fun for me to get in the car and put my seatbelt on because I'm not punching myself in the face. It's more when I walk by a mirror, I'm not like having that speech of like, what's wrong with you? What's happening? Okay. So I have been able to solve certain problems by addressing them and taking care of them because of all the thoughts I had. But I want to tell you, ladies, that you don't have to lose a pound, and you can change all the way that you think about yourself. You could be the happiest 300-pound woman ever. You don't have to lose a pound, because it's not about the actual number on the scale. It's about all the thoughts in your head. Okay. So the other reason why it's a problem, and I mentioned this, was constantly needing validation from others. But if you don't believe what they say, you don't even get that joy. How many people say, hey, that's such a beautiful quilt. I really like that. And you're like, yeah, but did you see those mistakes? So if you don't believe it, then it won't make a difference what other people say. So our self-esteem is literally just all the thoughts that we have about ourselves. So if you can change the way you think about this yourself, and I tell all my clients, until you can accept who you are at your weight, nothing's going to change. And you will not have, well, it could change temporarily, but that would be like hustling and like a lot of deprivation. And so it won't last. So spoiler alert, life will always be 50% difficult and 50% amazing. So how much time will you save for being here, right? So here we have the scale. So think about these old-fashioned scales. So in order to have a well-balanced life, we need to have 50% positive in our life and 50% negative. Now, we have spent too much time trying to make a life of bliss with no problems. And then we set ourselves up for failure. And then we go into hiding. So when we have a situation, we think, oh, why haven't I figured this out yet? Why haven't I done this? And so then we give ourselves all sorts of trouble. So I'm just going to give a very simple example. When you, let's say when you're looking for a password and you're on the computer and you have to pay a bill and you can't remember the password. So how many of you think, oh, password, what is wrong with the passwords? Why can't we ever figure this out? Why is this hope you have to be so hard? And you go on in this negative self-tangent about passwords and how annoying they are and how, or you can just say, oh, I forgot the password. Okay. I can check to see if I wrote it down. If I didn't, then I just have to email them and they'll just send me a new one. How simple is that? Okay. It might take me an extra 2 minutes, but no big deal. I just, maybe next time I'll figure out the password thing, but right now. So do you see what I'm saying is like, that was a negative experience because it wasn't something you expected, but you don't have to make a big deal of it. So instead of spending 20 minutes getting all stressed and worried about passwords and going through that whole rant about passwords, you just say, oh, I thought I had it. I guess I don't. How do I figure that out? And now 2 minutes later, you've got a new password and you're off to the races. So you've just saved yourself 18 minutes of grief. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. And we go more into this in my program. So the next tip, so that's the first tip. The first tip is that we need to realize that our worth is, here we go. Yes, our worth is not on the line. So if you weigh a certain amount, if you finish a certain quilt, it has nothing to do with your worth. It's just you wanting to do things that are more fun. The next one is the belief triad. Okay. So out of a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe you will be successful with the goals you set? So will I finish the UFOs in my stash? Will I be the kind of citizen I want to be? Will I reach the dreams I have, or have I given up? So we go into this in my program of really looking at where is your belief in yourself? So where do our beliefs come from? Beliefs are just practice thoughts. So a thought is the seed, and if you're going to nurture it. Okay. So you get to decide what you want to do with that. So whatever we feed will grow. So are you relying on other people's truths? Don't work through the problems. Do you have a lot of negative self-talk that is really destructive? As we know, this is not sustainable, not realistic. Are we dealing with the real problem, like I was talking about? Do we give up quickly, or do we resist, react, and avoid the issues? So whatever we feed, ladies, is what's going to grow. So if we don't work on our belief, and I was thinking about this belief triad. So my belief in me, my belief in the process, and my belief in, belief in me to be able to accomplish the goal, the belief in the process, and the belief in that I'm going to be able to work through that process, in the possibility. That's what I mean. So many of the ladies that work with me, they have a belief in me as a coach. They're like, yeah, I'm sure, Dara, you'll be good. And they have a belief that, yeah, thinking about your thinking is going to help you. But where they lack is their belief in them being able to accomplish goals, because they have been quitting on themselves. There's a new hashtag, and I'm going to make t-shirts. We're quilters, not quitters. Quilters, not quitters, guys. And so we have failed so many times in like finishing projects and losing weight, in standing up for ourselves instead of people pleasing or perfectionism. Like we try something, it doesn't go right away. Like it doesn't go as amazing as we want. And so now we lack trust in ourselves. We lack belief in ourselves. So that is where we need to learn to see on a bigger scale of, well, what are other things I have been successful with? And I could possibly be more successful. And so that is something we work on in my program. And I want to just encourage you to really look at yourself in your own belief, and how you do one thing in life is how you do all things. So many of you have been very well accomplished in your life. You've raised children, you've had careers, you've done so many things. You actually are really amazing. It's just that there's in certain areas, like maybe weight loss, or maybe, finishing projects, or buying more fabric, or whatever, maybe budgeting your time or budgeting your money. Maybe that is like a place of lack. But what we do is we take the skills that you already have, like if you've accomplished all these other things, you have the ability to finish things, and we can translate those skills for yourself. That's why I have clients who have lost 50, 80, all the weight, because they start believing in themselves and they start growing success, because now they redirect their thoughts to, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can be successful. Okay. So what you feed will grow. So we've got to start watching our brain to seeing what's going on. Okay. So now the third tool, and this is so amazing, I love this tool as well, is called the beach ball effect. Don't you just want to go there on the beach and just be part of that? So how do you approach problems? I want you to answer and be honest. Okay. So do you react, push it away, fight against yourself, get mad at yourself, or get tense? So then this is what it would look like. You'd get lots of headaches. You'd have lots of knots like in your shoulders. You're not as happy as you want to be. You need breaks from life. So you're turning to your phone, you're turning to email, you're turning to snacks, you go into the kitchen. So you're just like, oh, I need some breaks. So is this you? You get really frustrated and irritated, just like, oh my goodness, if he's going to say that one more time, or if she's going to do that. Or when you're driving, how impatient are you? You want other people to change. How often do you spend time thinking, well, if that person just did this, they would be so much happier. If they would just listen to me. And you're ticked off at how things happen, and you try to solve problems, and then people don't listen to you. So then, of course, and you have solutions to fix everyone else's problems. And that's where you focus. So are you that person? Are you team react? Or do you spend a lot of time resisting? So are you rushing around? Are you kind of yelling at people, being like, do this, do that, kind of commanding? Do you try to control everything? Are you a control enthusiast? That's what I call it. Do you try to finish things? You stay up late? Do you try to finish a lot of things? So you're at the edge of your patience. You feel frustrated and out of control, and you really feel like you're not in your own power. So you tend to be a bit of a workaholic. Okay. So is that you? I haven't really seen any chats. So people chatting. You can say it if you want. Team. So does this resonate with you? Are you team react? Are you team resist? Or are you this? Do you avoid? So do you pretend the problem isn't there? Do you spend a lot of time scrolling, eating, shopping? You do a lot of over consuming if you're in team avoid, okay? Do you make small things take longer than they should? Do you keep really busy doing something? So at the end of the day, you're like, I don't even know what I finished. Do you fixate on small things? Are you quick to judge others? And don't spend a lot of time alone. So like, when's the last time you just had time with just you? Just thinking, pondering, just being with yourself. Okay. So the problem is, so a beach ball, right, is supposed to be out of the water. It's supposed to be played with. But if you have this beach ball and you're like, I don't want to see my problems, I don't want to see what's happening, you push it under the water. You're like, no, I don't want to. So you're resisting, you're avoiding and reacting. And so what happens is we don't live the life that we want to be living. And we spend a lot of energy and time not in our own power. We feel very powerless and we go into victim. And so now food is a villain or people are villains. Okay. So what we need to do, and this is what I'm teaching you today, is we need to learn to accept what's going on. So we accept cancer. We accept husband said words. We accept the number on the scale. We are 299 pounds. We accept it because we're the ones who actually created that gain. It wasn't because of cancer. It wasn't because of what husband said. It wasn't because of COVID. It wasn't because of the government. It wasn't any of those things. It was because of decisions that you made. You had thoughts, you made decisions, and you kept putting food in your mouth more than what your body needed. So now you're a storage unit. That's all. So when we can accept it, we gain authority. We have the power to observe and then make changes. We give permission to ourselves for being who we are, right? And we feel empowered, and now we have authority. So let's take the example of accepting your current body. Okay, so this was me back in Christmas of 2017. Yes, because it was August 2018 when I got my first life coach. Yeah. I had to always do the math. And she did some photoshopping here. So I was a little bit bigger than that. So what do you think might happen if you say, I accept me at 210 pounds? So I don't even know if I've lost 50 pounds or 60 pounds, because I'm not sure if I was 210 pounds here, because I was not doing a lot of stepping on the scale, but I might have been. Anyways, so these are the thoughts I had about myself. I won't change. I will stay this way forever because, right? Like, this is just who I am now. So what really happens when you accept yourself exactly where you are, you take responsibility for why you are overweight, or why you have so many UFOs, or why you overspend. You take responsibility. So you build your own foundation of belief, which makes you independent. You're like, okay, so this is what I did. And then we make goals that we want for us and not what we think we should, right? We don't have to live for other people anymore. We're like, okay, I'm the one who did this. I'm the one who created this weight. So now I get to be the person who takes it off. And it has nothing to do with where I live. It doesn't have anything to do with my husband's transfer. It doesn't have anything to do with bursitis. It doesn't have anything to do with my age, perimenopause. It's all about my thoughts. It's all about the actions I took. So why this works is that when we rely on others for our worth, we will always fall short, because even when they do compliment us, or we have to believe that about ourselves first, or else we won't believe them. We build our own foundation of belief, which makes us independent, and we make goals that we want for us and not what we think we should. Okay. So when we realize these skills, then look at the kind of life we can have. And by the way, I love this picture because that could be me. I now surf. I now put myself in a wetsuit. because I don't worry about what other people think of me. So this works because we start living the lives that we want to live. We can troubleshoot for our own problems. We are independent and no longer seeking approval from other people. We have a lot of time wasted on unhelpful patterns. So we now live a life that we want to live. So this is what happens when we do this work. So when we learn that our worth is already set, so we don't have to accomplish anything to feel like we can be deemed acceptable. We can start trusting ourselves. We can believe in ourselves, and we don't have to resist, react, or avoid our life anymore. And we can recognize those patterns so that we can start living the life that we really want to live. Okay, so I want you to think about this training, and I want you to think of what was one thing. Just even take one thing, and I want you to commit to change, and you're welcome. Enjoy that transformation. It's so fun. So for any of you who are on here that have been my client who's done this work, what is one thing that you have done in your life that has changed so much for you that you're so grateful you have these tools? And I'm putting you on the spot. So if you don't want to, that's fine. You don't have to put it in there. But I do want to say that this is what I see here from so many of my clients. They no longer punch themselves in the face. They're not beating themselves up. They still will have negative thoughts, but they catch them quicker and quicker. I see my ladies feeling like they are actually empowered. They can lose the weight, they can make a decision, and they can work towards it. They're willing, they process their negative thoughts. They're just able to say, oh yeah, here it is. I know a lot of my clients don't, when they step on the scale and the number doesn't go down, they don't realize that, they don't say like, I'm the worst. They understand the process of weight loss. I realize buffering. So now you can stop in that buffering. That's so good. All right, so that's the training for today. And now I'm going to talk to you about how you can work with me and how you can create these, there we go. I realized what I could do it and have more confidence. Yes. And you know what I love about my clients? I thank you for sharing that, because they still, just like me, we are still humans. We are still going to have the 50% of life that's not so awesome. And so we don't react to it. We don't live in it. We're not spending all that time being in such negative thinking. And so when they do have a day or a moment where they don't follow their protocol or they mess up, like they'll even have weekends where they're just like, wah! They don't quit on themselves. We're quilters, not quitters. And I love that. And they start building, like we talked about the belief triad, they now start believing that they can do it. I need to let the emotions pass through my body. Yes. So now we're letting the emotions pass through our body instead of more donuts, because we're like, I don't want to feel this way. I just want to feel better. So I'm going to turn to something external to make myself feel better. Thank you for sharing. You guys are awesome. I love my clients. Okay. So this is how you can create the skills and have the kind of results that you want in your life. You can learn to lose the weight, physical weight, and keep it off forever. You can learn to lose the mental weight, and you can learn how to work through all of that. So I'm going to do this for the first time live because I'm a big picture person. And I thought, wouldn't that be fun to teach Love Yourself Thin over 3 days? So now you see the whole big picture. And then we're going to take the following 13 weeks to implement all of it. So you can attend live at Lisa Bonjean's brand new retreat center, or you can attend virtually. So I have women doing both. And I want to recommend, it's starting in 18 days or 17 days. And so I highly recommend that you sign up now. I am going to talk to you about a very special signing bonus, but it's limited to how many people. So I highly recommend that you stay on the end to find that bonus. I do encourage you to ask any questions. I have the chat open while I'm sharing with you what's the possibility. So the program, the process of loving yourself thin is $3,000. And you are going to learn how to create your own protocol. Here, I'm just going to get to that one. So the live event is October 18th to 20th with support until January 12th. So you will be able to have access to me. And I'm going to talk about all the details of what kind of access and what does it look like. So it's $3,000. And I want to recommend that you go and sign up right now. You can just go on my website, click to PayPal. If you are Canadian, you actually pay Canadian because you get to pay Canadian taxes depending on what province you live, and I can kind of work that out for you. So go and sign up, or you can stay on here until the end. You can ask me any questions. Now, this is my process. So the first 4 modules is learning how weight loss science is simple. You get to create your very own protocol, and you learn how to troubleshoot your food plan. So there are women in my program that have lost 50, 60, 80 pounds, and I don't even know what they eat because I've taught them the tools and how they can do it. So that's really exciting because we're all different. The second phase of my program is that we learn that emotions help us. We don't have to be afraid of them. We understand why we buffer. We understand the cost that how much it's like. I talk about, like, when I think about the price of $3,000, I think, oh my goodness, so many of my clients are like, I have saved so much money because I wasn't overspending. I wasn't overspending as much. We still do. We're still human, but they're not spending as much money on all the fabric and it's not costing them in relationships. There are a lot of saved marriages through this program. And do you know how expensive a divorce is, right? And calories. And so we're avoiding being a type 2 diabetic. We're avoiding thinking about going and doing lap band surgery, all of those things. Those are just temporary fixes. They never address the issue. So now we take ownership of all of our feelings. And we go into perfectionism, people pleasing, and procrastination. That's my triple P. And those have such a profound effect on us in being able to live the life that we want. If we thought of how many hours we spend on this all or nothing thinking, or waiting for the perfect time, or whatever it is, and never being satisfied, it has an emotional toll on us that causes us to continue that really vicious cycle of the negative self-talk, thinking that if we're mean enough to ourselves and we can change, but that just actually keeps us hiding from ourselves because we're so mean that we don't want to hang out with ourselves. Okay. And then the third phase of my process is we get to our thoughts create our results. We build self-confidence to make goals, and then we actually create goals and achieve them. That's what we do. And I teach a process of making goals in a different way than I'd ever heard. And it is, it's a way that we can have actual self-sustainable goal keeping. And you learn that process. So you learn it so well that you can just put any goal in there and you can start creating it for yourself. Okay. It's going to take some time. We have a lot of unlearning we have to do to create new learning. And that's why we're thinking about our thinking. Okay, so what are the results of loving yourself thin? Well, you understand why you are overweight and unhappy with your life. You learn to implement tools just like a rotary cutter and a cutting mat and rulers. Those are tools that help us create beautiful quilts, 1/4-inch seams, irons, all of those things. You are now going to have a toolbox full of ways to construct a kind of life that you want. And you're no longer going to be the crash test dummy of your life. We're no longer at the whim of COVID or words people say, or, unsuccessful attempts at certain quilt things, right? Paper piecing. That's so confusing to me. So we're no longer at the result of being a crash test dummy. We can be in any situation, and we can make our own dreams come true. So how are you going to guarantee your success? I'd love to tell you how. So not only will you get the love yourself thin process, but you will get, so I think, how am I going to help those women? So we have a module, there's 12 lessons, they're amazing. I thought, how can I help them? And this is what I had to have it in my binder. So I thought, okay, I know a way to help them to have more success. We're going to go in a group coaching situation. And when we have a group coaching situation, you no longer feel alone. It takes the shame out of weight loss. It's so relatable. You support each other. You learn from others. You rally. You get ideas of what's working. You learn faster from others. It's such a beautiful thing. I started out as a one-on-one coach, and I loved one-on-one coaching. And then when I got so many clients, I couldn't keep up. My business coach said, well, now you need to do group coaching. And I thought, group coaching for weight loss, that seems a little bit crazy. But as I embraced it, and it's so much fun, because the first time I did it was a year ago now in October, and those women are still so close. I see them posting and sharing with each other. They have a bond when they were in that group setting that is just so unique and a beautiful thing. So I'm really glad that I decided to embrace the discomfort and offer group coaching for you for weight loss. It is a wonderful thing. So here we go. So love yourself thin. So you can come to the live event. It's in you'd fly to Appleton, Wisconsin, or you drive to Wisconsin. It's Lisa Bonjean's brand new retreat center. It's so beautiful and gorgeous. I have so many pictures. And then you learn the process, or you attend virtually. And then you get 3 coaching calls a week of how to really learn this process and how to apply this process. And the other thing I thought would be so fun is to offer a 12. So if money back guarantee, you lose 12 pounds, and then you learn the process of how to keep going. So it's risk free. $3,000, you guarantee to lose 12 pounds, and then you learn the process. And a lot of my ladies lose average of about 20 pounds in that 3 months. Okay. So then I was thinking, how do I help them guarantee their own success? What are ways that I can help them as their coach really have this success? So we're in a group, and now I thought, how nice would that be for them to communicate with each other? But not only that, for them to have access to me anytime. So 3 a.m, you're quilting, you really want that chocolate, you really want that cake, you really want whatever it is, and you just do a thought download, you put it in the Facebook group, and whenever I wake up, I can help you. So now you have basically 24 hours, 7 days a week access to me as your coach, and you have support from others. You can learn from others. You can rally with each other. You get ideas from what's working. You can learn faster from each other. And I'm finding that my process, we're getting quicker and quicker results because these ladies are really embracing the love yourself thin process. So what you need to do is you need to go to my website. It says work with me, and you can click on the PayPal, and I'd love to shout you out during this webinar. So we will do the love yourself thin process. You will learn the 12 modules. The weight loss science is simple, emotions are the key to the universe, and then creating a future you whom you love. And you will attend either virtually or in person, and you will get the big picture. So you're going to be set up for Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. Isn't that amazing? And so you're going to get that coaching, those live coaching calls with me all throughout that time. You get 3 times a week. And you will lose 12 pounds guaranteed, or your money back. So then I thought, how can I guarantee success for these ladies? And as a reward, I reward people who take action. So the fact that you're on this call is telling me that you're ready. You're ready for change. And so I'm going to allow you to get on the Monday calls already. And I have one client that got on the Monday calls back in middle of June. And then she didn't start the process until end of July. And yesterday she reported she's lost 39 pounds. Not only has she lost 39 pounds, but she has gone down 39 points for her cholesterol, and she's 64 years old. Last year, when she was at the doctor was really concerned about cholesterol, and she had the thought, nothing's ever going to change. It doesn't matter what I eat. This is just hereditary. This is just the way it is. And she went to the doctors, and the doctor was so impressed to go down 39 points in her cholesterol that she gave the doctor all my information, because the doctor's like, this is how you need to lose weight. You need to go do it from here. So I want you can start coming to our Monday calls. I'm going to teach you how to lose 2 pounds a week. This month, we're actually making a goal, and we're focusing on buffering. And then you get access to all my previous courses. Okay. So the live event, of course, is October 18th and 20th. So it's in 17 days, you guys. You need to sign up. You need to get all your travel plans all arranged. If you're going to attend virtually, we're going to get you all, we'll mail you all the resources. And then you get, of course, the 3 coaching calls a week, the Monday classes with everybody. And then you get just our own group 2 times a week. And then you get the lose 12 pounds and figure out how, money back guaranteed. Now, this is a bonus, and it is limited because my coach only has so many places. She went through my process. She has lost a lot of weight. She's been very successful, and she is now in training to be a coach in the life coach school where I go to school, to be a weight and life coach. And she has agreed to coach you one-on-one. So if you're kind of thinking, well, I like the idea of a group, but I kind of want a one-on-one coach, you actually get both. I have never been able to offer this to you. And I don't think I'll ever be able to do it because it is not going to be at any extra cost. And so you will get 6 coaching calls with her one-on-one, which is an incredible value of like $1,500 signing bonus. And so that's why I encourage you to act now. Because if you want it, just do it. And so then you get that head start. You can start learning the tools right away. You can start working on your protocol. You can get that. You can just start really living the life that you want. And can you imagine if we started now, Christmas, like, what's that? Like 20 some weeks from now, 18, I don't know. I have to do the math. And you would be like 30 pounds lighter by Christmas. And it's totally realistic. So the live event is October 18th to 20th. It's at Lisa Bondine's Retreat Center. You can attend live, of course, or virtually. We're going to be stitching at night. I've never done hand stitching, and I have Twilight Garden. So I'm really excited to learn from you all. You're going to get that weekly support, and it's a money back guarantee. So you have a few things to do to get the money back guarantee. You need to come to at least 1 call a week to get the money back. You're going to do 3 simple steps. So they're very simple. I can't tell you what those are because it's part of the process, but they will not take you more than 3 minutes. You need to do 3 thought downloads a week, and then you need to do 3 thought models a week. It's that simple. So it's a money back guarantee. There is 0 risk of doing this. So of course, the live event, isn't that so exciting to think it's already coming up? So fun. And you get that support from me. Now, some other parts, because I just think, how am I going to help these women? And this is why I'm getting quicker and quicker success with the ladies that join. You get a 6-week one-on-one check with me, coaching call. So it's going to help you to we make goals at the beginning, and just kind of that personal one-on-one check-in is really fun. It's fun for you. It's fun for me. And it helps me see your brain a little bit more clearly when we're having that one-on-one experience. I have a 12-step perfection recovery program that I did write for you in mind. When I was a professional quilter, I would always say I was the president of the perfection recovery program. Women always came up to me. And so I did write a 12-step guide. I use it for myself all the time as I am a recovering perfectionist. And it has been so helpful for me to retrain my brain. And so that is available to you as well. And then once you finish the 12 weeks, you will get a 4th Monday of every month. You get a follow-up call with me. And I love those ladies who keep coming are having so much success because they're it's like using a tool. If you learn how to use a rotary cutter and you only took one lesson and you never practice, you're not going to be very good at the rotary cutter. So as you keep coming to these calls, you're going to have so much more success. All right. So love yourself thin, sign up. Now, this is an opportunity now for you to ask me any questions. I am here for you. And I see you on here. You can't see each other, but I'm here for you. So what questions do you have about Love Yourself Thin process, about any of the tools that I talked about today? I know I kind of talk fast, but I wanted to make sure that I had time at the end of the call to answer anything. So even if you want coaching, even if you're like, Dara, I really like this idea. If you have a big problem in your life, I am here for you. Just going to see if I missed any of the comments on here. So I'm going to address some of the frequently asked questions as you're thinking. So one of the questions that I often get is, how does the not counting calories or exercising actually help? And so one of the things that I really want to focus on for the way that I teach weight loss is that I want it to be sustainable. I know myself, and I know that I am not interested in standing in a grocery store and looking at the backs of everything. I know that I don't even own a scale. I am not going to weigh food. I am not going to be obsessive compulsive, because I can be all or nothing thinking. That's the perfectionist in me recovering. And so I don't want to live a life where I'm having to calculate numbers. That is not my thing. When I wrote my quilting book and had to write a pattern, it was like, I don't love all those little details of things. So I approach weight loss as, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. If it's too hard, if it's too difficult, if it's too like nitpicky, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. Do I have some good habits that I've created that took me a little while to get into those habits? Absolutely. Was I a creative scientist that created that? Absolutely. Do I have my foods that I know work well for me? Absolutely. But I created that process out of curiosity and compassion, and it's so sustainable. So that's a big question I get. Can you exercise? Of course. But ladies, we don't know how many, every pound of fat that we are storing on our body is 3,000 calories. So if I'm eating a certain amount of calories, I have a lot of calories in my body already. So I don't know how much my body's going to be expending of energy. So what's the point of counting all those calories? Do we have some guidelines? Yeah, we have some guidelines. All right, other questions? I do want to shout out, if any of my clients who are on here want to just share little pieces of advice for those people who are on the fence, you can put those in the chat. Another question that I get is about the money back guarantee. And one of the things that I really want to encourage all of you to is, the reason I have the money back guarantee is because I know so many of you have spent so much money on weight loss in the past. And so there's a lot of shame attached to it. And when we operate out of shame, we're not our best selves. We're not coming forward. And so if I can take that off the table, especially when it comes to, if you're like me, my husband and I, when we spend money, especially if it's over like $1,000, it's something that I would say, hey, husband, I want to da 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 da. And so if you have that, just that assurance, like it's okay. And then what I do is I can help you coach on, how do you show up for yourself? How do you do the thought downloads? How do you, work the model? And because we have the group coaching Facebook group, you can approach the group and say, this is the thought download I had. This is the thought download I had. This is what's happening. And then you have that accountability piece that's going to help you. And because we are working together, we're all different, but we're working towards a common goal. It's so much more, I would almost say like enjoyable. I love this. I can't even remember how I used to think before this love yourself in process. I've changed so much and my life is so much better. Right. So you will be in so for everyone so my process, the Love Yourself In starts October 18th. Everyone that's registered for that class, you will have your own unique class. So fun. And then on the Monday calls, we have, that's my mastermind ladies and you all joining together. And so we work on kind of themes that promote the process so that you learn the process quicker and quicker. Okay. So that's how that works. All right. Who wants to sign up? Who's so scared? Did you know that before you learned to tie your shoes, you were scared that you would fail? Did you know before you made your first quilt, you were scared? It's actually really normal to be a little bit scared. But this is where I talk about that belief triad. The belief triad is, I believe in the coach. Like I believe in Dara because, and a lot of you have seen, if you go on my YouTube, you'll see a lot of testimonials. There's a lot of women that have had a lot of success. And then you have the belief in like, oh, I don't have a knowledge problem. I have a thinking problem. Okay. So now you're like, okay, I believe that that's possible. I believe that if I start thinking about my problem, now I go to the root cause of the issue. So if you broke your arm, like I said yesterday, if you break your arm and you go to the doctor and the doctor's like, oh, you have a lot of pain. I'm going to give you some Tylenol. You're like, okay, but I'm going to keep having a lot of pain if you don't fix the broken arm. The doctor's like, yeah, but you know what? Breaking arms and resetting it's going to be really painful. So let's just keep giving you Tylenol. That's what diets are, ladies. That's what happened. Or you buy a book and you're like, well, if I do this thing, if I try this thing, if I try that thing. Okay. So that's why I say to my ladies, you got to keep committing to this process. And so it's so fun to watch those who keep committed to the Love Yourself In process. They have so much success because now they're so focused on this is my way. And then they get help troubleshooting their brain of when things aren't going how they want. And they have all the support they need. So those people who reach out to me, the more, and like in the group and interacting and do their own self-coaching, it's like you can see how much their life has totally changed. And then, okay, I lost my train of thought there. But so it's okay to, oh yeah, that's right, your belief in yourself. So this is where I want to challenge you. So if you are like on the cusp of wanting to join and there's still some questions, I want to encourage you can have a 20-minute consult with me, no problem. And I was going to have a hair appointment this afternoon and she canceled. So I have time this afternoon now. I'm going to be working on emails and things, but if you want to, I have 1 hour right now of coaching my group. And then after that, I will have the afternoon. So if you want to reach out to me, I see you. Let's do it. And then you can get the fast acting bonus where you can have a one-on-one coach. So you can have the benefit of a one-on-one coach and the group, and they can go together and really have your success. And you truly can by Christmas. There's no reason why you can't. And just like my client who's down 39 pounds and 39 points for her cholesterol, she keeps saying to me, Dara, when you said that I believe that you can do it, if there was something inside her that actually believed that she could do it. And she keeps thanking me on the call. She's like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Because and so if you need to borrow my belief, you can do it because I totally know that I can help you. And I totally know if you just keep showing up, it's going to happen. All right, ladies, I will talk to you later.